open up this main valve here so they can come on.
This video is brought to you in part by TruTech Tools. Quality tools, essential support.
We're working on a boiler, and yeah, we're out in the middle of nowhere. This is a concrete plant, so concrete's made right here, and yeah, so the trucks come in here, and when they want to make concrete, the water has to be warm when it gets cold. Obviously, it's kind of hard to do concrete in the winter, but there's a point where you got some room there. What we got here, it looks like we've got a motion light. We've got a radiant heater, Mr. Heater, the one and only. We've got my track mat here for me to lay on because it's dirty and dusty in here. I'm a princess. So we've got circulators. They're actually looping the water through. It looks like these galvanized and some stainless fittings. You've got the pump here. The water gets pulled back to the boiler. There, it's going out. Here's your valves here. This is the water, cold water coming in, I believe from the city. So it should be fairly clean water. They can fill straight into the tank. And then underneath of me, there's like 7,000 gallons. I heard it go brr, 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 and it didn't light. So that's usually a scary thing when you got probably 5 or 7 BTU down here. So what we do now is I've got it turned off. Chances are it's probably a dirty flame sensor. Let's take a peekaroo here at this. Look at this funny looking thing. That is weird looking. Like I said, power switches off. There's that. I'm figuring the flame sensor's probably dirty. Pilot's dirty. That looks like a shield. It is a great place to use Phillips screws. That way they strip out after the heat's all on them. They're really thought out. There you go. And the burners don't just lift up. No, we gotta keep those kind of difficult. There we go. Not sure why they did that the way they did it. Probably because it was gonna melt, so they probably did it like that so it wouldn't melt. That's what my guess would be. So I can get on there with my fancy Knipex pliers. It's got some really nice grips. Made that all nice and super strong, didn't I? Yeah, laugh. I mean, I'm working on a VRF Lennox chiller, and now I'm working on this freaking old-fashioned water heater, boiler, whatever. So I would say it's probably got a little bit of gunk here on that, and that right there pilot might be a little dirty. So this right here is your spark and flame sensor all built into one. You can either take a wire brush from cleaning copper, put it in your drill and really go at it and clean that sucker up. I got a lot of white crud on that. So we just kind of rotate that rod a little bit. I like to make sure you guys have the best viewing angle possible. Grab my Milwaukee and we'll clean the burners out. Just, or we grab the nitrogen, whatever. And there's a reason why I use that. It's not leaving gouges in it. Yeah, it scratched my hand a little bit, but I got that all better. It gets the crud off of it. Now, it's just as important that this ground rod, or the ground shield here, that has a good connection, which is stainless steel, and it looks pretty good. We can always blast it with some brake cleaner and then blast it out with some nitrogen. You can always take it out and clean the orifice. Honestly, the orifice is pretty easy to clean on this. Jump to the next size, clean it, take it apart. But sometimes you're better off not taking it completely apart because you might actually break the unit, the pilot assembly. And that's the thing, you new guys don't even see these anymore. Everything's direct ignition or hot surface or whatever, and that crap's completely changed. Yeah, you can see kinda, I don't think you can, but you can see there's some crud down there. We're just gonna clean it out rudimentary here. I've tried multiple different ways. I've tried seeing if, you know, hitting it with a torch would make a difference. I've tried hitting it with multiple different things, which is a lot of times how you learn. It's just by going through and trying different things. Obviously, brake cleaner, flammable. So that would have got any of the loose dust off. I don't usually necessarily use this all the time, but I've kind of been on a roll with this stuff lately. So we're going to change out the regulator here because it's not very powerful. These are really slow. So that's the reason why I kind of cheat, which technically is unsafe, but I have an adapter here. The reason why I never hook a hose on there with an actual fitted end is because you're taking straight off a bottle, which is dangerous, but I'm okay with that. Just you don't want to do it because it might hurt you. It can blow your face off. But like I said, that's the reason why I don't have a hose with a fitting on it. You're never tempted to be like silly and just do something stupid. So what we're going to do is we're going to blast this out. This is going to dry it off, and it's also going to get any crud that was in there. And we could hit with higher pressure than that, but you can blow through it now. I built this with a fitting I bought either for Amazon or eBay. It's just a replacement regulator tip. And then I stamp my initials on it. RAD, because I'm rad. Big 1980s term. That should be super duper clean. No gouges. Everything's happy-go-lucky. Let's grab the blower. We can blow it out with that nitrogen, but that costs money. This is a good hour and 15 minutes highway driving from where we were at. Let's go ahead and see if this works first. Yeah, I think that's how it went. Can you see anything in there? There you go. Don't want to forget tightening this up. Track mat is pretty nice. Otherwise, I'd be laying down here on this nasty freaking dirty floor. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of difficult to clean those burners out. We might just blow the crap out from underneath of it. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get into burners very good. Kind of a cruddy setup. All right, let's give it a shot, see what happens here. There's the pilot. There goes the burners. Hopefully. I heard a click, but I didn't hear it come on. That kind of can get scary, you get delayed ignition. Whoosh! I think there's something wrong with the main gas valve not coming on. So when we look at here, we've got medium or high pressure coming through, medium pressure, whatever, to the first regulator there coming down. Comes into here, goes to the pilot. Pilot has gas, comes up over to the solenoid, another regulator. Solenoid opens up when the spark ignition kicks on. These two valve trains here, because of the BTU rating of this unit, they have two gas valves for redundancy, even though you never do find out if one failed, if one's stuck open. This here is 1,222,500, or 1,222,500. And so, yeah. What we can do, which is kind of nice, we can actually turn it off here. And we can kick it on and not worry about our faces getting blown off. So let's go ahead and turn it on. I did check that limit switch up there. It is not tripped. I swear I thought I heard these click. This thing here is just a ground wire, as you can see. The reason why they did it the way they did it. That green wire turned to black when it got down to here. It's just a ground wire to make sure that it actually gets good spark. Instantaneously. Yeah, so we've got a click. I can feel this gas valve. It's probably high voltage. I can feel it vibrating. I feel this one feels like it's vibrating. It should have came on. So what we're gonna do, let's go grab the gas gauge, make sure all these burners are in place. They appear to be. There's nothing worse than having it not fire off because of that. They can take a pressure tap here. Let's just go grab the gas gauge and we'll find out. move back a little bit and see how this thing reacts. This tells us whether or not we're getting pressure to the burners, and I don't like letting it just run. Not getting any pressure, which is weird because we have pilot pressure. Turn her off. So one of these pressure regulators here might have taken a crap. It is very, very possible. Should be able to open them up and see if we got gas coming out. In reality, we could probably stick this right here. Like that. Jim Jam, Jim Dandy. Got it off there. We can see if we're getting it to the first regulator here. Here we go. Key here is I've got that valved off. If I don't, then this thing could start dumping gas, and nobody wants that. That'd be a bad news bearer situation. Gas is dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing, don't be doing this crap. Not built. This video crap is not for homeowners to figure out their stuff. Okay, let's see what we get here. Pressure. I'd say that regulator's messing up. Let's check if we've got any draw on that regulator there. Solenoid, gas valve, gas stop, valve train, gas valve. Yeah, there we go. Same difference. They're 24 volts. This one's pulling 0.45 amps, so we know that valve's working. It's the only thing this kind of comes in handy. I don't know why they had to make this so cotton picking long though. A little cornballish. Looks like we got 0.85 on that one. That's probably both of them being powered. Okay, well, we've got it to here. Make sure that they ain't got it. I bet they have an interlock on this thing. Make sure the interlock's not causing a problem. They could have. I don't see it, but they could have wired it in that way. Oh yeah, they got a power vent on that bad dog. Filter. Looks a little cruddy. A little cruddy. Okay, there ain't a whole lot to this ignition system. It's pretty ranky-dank basic, and it looks like it got a 24-volt transformer and a little board there. It looks like it might be a timer of some sort. Control input, yeah. Of course, no schematic. Not seeing a whole lot, so from what it sounds like, it's got to find out if we got pressure coming into it. If we do, we got to get rid of that first one, then it'd be nice to know if the next one's going to work. So hopefully I'm using this thing right, but it would only make sense to put a tap there, and it's just some sort of generic restrictor deal. It should be able to get some gas pressure readings, which to me it looks like it's 1.8, 1.9. It's slowly dwiddle-dinking. I'm going to pop this sucker right off and check it here to see if we actually get some good pressure. We got a tap here I just loosened up. You can hear the gas flying through. So we got gas pressure coming in. So we know we're getting it up here, but we're not getting it out of here. So it appears to me our issue is this thing. How it went bad is beyond me. I'm not sure. I'll get a good look at it, make sure it's getting all the voltages that it needs, but it feels like it is. Okay, we took the cover off, which was right like that. And all it is a generic solenoid. And then they loop this yellow and orange, which appears to be coming from, yellow comes from over that way to the controller. So they're bringing it down here, they're feeding it to the yellow and orange. So the orange and yellow, they're just redundant. Yeah, it's just tied in parallel. And then you've got the black one, which is being fed from up there, and then I don't know why they got the blue in there. I don't know why they got 3. Oh, low and high. So all this here is, okay, so you got 3 wires here. This is your high and low, and this is your valve in front of just open and close. It's just to make sure that they both shut down. You're hoping that one fails before the other, and then you'll lose heat, and then you'll come fix the one, and then you can double check the other. It's kind of the thought process. I doubt, you know, that you're going to lose both at the same time. Yeah, because when you look at this, you just got two lines in there. So all we got to do, and we got that, yeah, we got that tightened. We can put the lamp clamp on there. I think one of the coolest things on this is that light. That is so kick-ass. Yeah, you can see the gas line right there just comes up, goes across, comes into the back side over here and drops down. So battery went dead right when I kicked that on. But we do have 0.68 amps. So you can see we got the 0.6 there. As soon as it comes on, boom, 0.61. So I am going to pull that completely out just to make certain, because I mean, obviously we should get a flow of gas through that. I don't want to condemn this thing to be wrong. I'm sure this valve's several $100s. Looks like the same size as my fuel tap. So instead of just opening it up, oh yeah, there you go. Now I know. I've never seen these before. It's got a little bitty stem on it. Got that plugged in there. Let's go ahead and zero this turd out. Plug it on there and see if we get anything. Well, that's nice. It's technically leaking through. Yeah. Why are we getting pressure here when it shouldn't? So in reality, shouldn't be. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this cap back on there, because I don't want to forget and then have some bad times. We're watching that there. Pilot. Boom. Gas dropped for a second to 7 inches. Which, you know, whatever. And we know we got it there. Which makes me wonder what happens when we turn this one open. Ooh, it starts to drop, which kind of scares me. Okay. Well, I got more than one pressure tap. We can do it in multiple spots. Okay, you guys never see me use this one. Usually just sets in my truck all pretty. It does work, it's pretty doggone accurate, so let's go ahead and hook it up to here. Got one gas meter here, the other one sitting there. Let's go ahead and kick this turd. Actually, this turd is calling, ain't it? Yeah, I think it's calling. Ugh, let's move back a little bit. Okay, that gas pressure dropped down to 0.9, which tells me it's not working right. This one doesn't have anything here. So in my mind, that regulator over there is not opening. Now, we could open up the gas pressure test on the other side to see if our incoming side's dropping, but we surely aren't getting anything here. It's a neat little guy. It's got a little magnet on it. It's tiny. It's supposed to be really accurate. Don't know if it's made in China or if it's made in Gomer, but we can go ahead. We know that this is getting power. So for shedizzles and giggles, go ahead and kill this. We can check incoming here. Let's go ahead and put that meter on there, and then we'll see if we got it on the other side. It ain't a perfect fit, but it does work. So for dizzles and shedizzles, let's go ahead and put this on here. And that gets on nice and deep, just like a good old prostitute. There we go. Put that on there, boom. We can put this turd herder back in here. Okay, we got 8 inches, which we're not over. That's a good thing. So we know our incoming gas is good. Boom, high pressure is still on that valve. It drops after the valve. We have nothing here. So that valve there's junk. It's not opening. Pretty self-explanatory there if you really do think so. If I don't say so myself. I think it's so pretty. I have not used it because the hoses they give you are kind of whopper jawed. It does only use 2 AAA batteries, which is kind of sweet. Yeah, there we go. Look at that nice backlight. That's so pretty. Got that from TruTech Tools. Save 6% with Survival at checkout on your total order. Let's see here. Short of jumping the fuel over to the next one, there's not a whole hell of a lot I can do because we know we're not getting it through the gas tram here. So chances of both of them failing, I doubt it. As far as, you know, this one here getting high and low, we do know that we have black is most likely your common. So we can come in here. We have 0.2 on the one. Boom, we got 0.4 on the orange. And then come in here and get the blue one. 0.24 on that. So it appears to me 0.2 and 0.3, I think I said, and then you add them together, that would be the total on the common. Yeah, so we're running at least just one of them. So that one there is getting gas through it. We got everything picked up here. Got all of our plugs in here, there, valves are shut off, everything's great, grand, and glorious. So we're going to keep this turned off. We're going to tell them what's going on. This is a water heater classification. It's not just a regular boiler, because I asked the sales dude, I'm like, dude, since when can we run water just right on through a boiler and not cause scaling and all this other crap? I guess this one was built for it. It's why it's Raypack, whatever. Very well known for swimming pools and stuff like that. So anyhow, that's about it for this one. So we're back over here with that part for this boiler. Okay, let's get some of our pipe wrenches here. We got a nice 24-incher. Also got this new stuff that I got from HB, HF, whatever you want to call it. HVACR. These are some cool wicked wrenches here. So let's get at it. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and break this unit over here. And then we'll back all this off. This nice thing about the HVACR stuff over some of the other stuff, or any of the Harbor Freight stuff, warranties, boom, I can get it handled just about anywhere. There we go. Now see how quick that was versus this. Not quite as convenient. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the Harbor Freight stuff at first, but after a while you're kind of like, I can see why this isn't a bad idea. Yep, it's holding good. Now they've got that there, the plate on it, so it can't turn. Okay, I don't care about this valve because it's bad, so we're just going to go ahead and, back up wrench on that, because right there's what's going to happen if you were to do that, and it actually was trying not to break it. So that's plain screwed now. Our issue is there's really nothing to hold on to. I suppose we could maybe hook onto this, even though it's backwards. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Basically using it as a pair of, or a big crescent. Let me guess, you guys probably made it so it hits Just barely. Yeah, it's probably gonna hit. There we go. Now that we broke it loose, we want to make sure we re-dope that. Alright, so the guys came in here and told me, hey, yeah, there's schematics over here on that wall. I wonder who took that out. And so here's your safety valve. Here's your orange, your yellow. They go to one side of the solenoid. The black and the black goes to the black on the solenoid. So you got 3 blacks together, and you got the yellow and the orange with 1 black there. So things should work. They're getting ready to, or supposedly they're starting to charge for it now, so they're kind of pushing to get it going. All right, so we've soaked everything down, and we've got everything together except for the main valve. We left that off because I don't want it to kick on just yet. And like I said, we got the main valves off here, so let's go ahead and turn this off again. Open up this main valve here so they can come on. Well, there's 2 or 3 BTUs in here. They all appear to be burning pretty good. Somehow the valve is acting up, imagine that. Make sure none of this is leaking. Definitely get a little bit of rollback. I mean, not really rollback, but you can feel the heat, and you can tell some of these have gotten hot enough that it's melted some of them. With that panel on and stuff, I mean, you definitely keep these wires away from any of that metal area, and as it gets warmer in here, plus if they don't have that fan on as good as it's supposed to be, that could cause major issues too. But it appears we might have it. Just gotta see if things start getting warm like they should, like the water and stuff, and hopefully we'll be done here in just a little bit. Got good air coming through. Let's bring it right to the outside wall. The heat's being shoved out through here. Goes, you can close off the one or open the other, and then it goes up and over to there. Okay, shut the door. We were getting some rollback, but now it's stopped. It must have been that door being open, causing some loopy doops. There's a little bit there. This is a big old monster beast. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more like it, smack your mama, smack your friend, knock yourself in the head with a 2x4, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.